Clipse are back.
So be it, so be it.
The duo's upcoming fourth studio album, Let God Sort Them Out, is scheduled for release by Jay-Z's Roc Nation on July 11, 2025. It is their first new album together in over 15 years.
I also love the fact of how viable he has kept this movement in my absence.
This is the era that proves that it doesn't have to age out.
So the album was originally planned for a 2024 release, but the album was delayed.
We show up with the Kendrick verse, and everything's halted.
Pusha T says that the lyric committee at Def Jam censors his lyrics.
Since 2018, it has been a way to censor my music.
The lyric committee is crazy.
I didn't even know that existed.
White folks, y'all have went crazy.
They ended up signing to Roc Nation instead, and they're now operating as an independent group.
I done disappeared and reappeared without a voila.
And the features are crazy.
You got John Legend, Tyler the Creator, Kendrick Lamar, Nas.
Nas is on the Clipse album?
Nas, that's what...
Not Jim Jones?
What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever.
Cut! You don't believe that. You don't feel that.
Back with another episode of Music for Breakfast. This is the most important meal you'll ever hear. I am your host, Octavia March, alongside my music friends.
What's up, it's Kia, a.k.a. KC.
What's going on, gang? It's your girl, Rebel Roulette. And you already know you need to stop right about now. Hit that like, hit that subscribe right about now. Subscribe.
Hit that like button if you like this. Hit that like button if you love this. Hit that like button if you like this. Hit that like button if you love this.
Welcome and welcome back, y'all, with Music for Breakfast. We are a thought-provoking independent media platform intertwined with music to match the vibe of each and every episode. This cultural conversation is based off opinion, which is based off the facts. We are coming with nothing but facts to the function. So what we talking about today, Tay?
The Clipse got that album coming.
When the last time you heard it like this? Smoke some, drink some, get wet. And make the girls in the party just
The
scream.
Clipse is about to drop a highly anticipated album because where they been, we've been waiting on y'all. We are super excited. This is coming in July. But before we hop into this great news, we want to school y'all a little bit on who the Clipse is.
Now sit your black ass at the back.
I'm gonna show you some shiznit right about now.
For y'all that don't know, they are two brothers, Gene Malice, as well as Terrence Thornton, also known as Pusha T. They are also childhood friends of Pharrell Williams, producer, artist, clothing designer, good skin, all the things, never ages, vampire. They actually got their name with the help of Pharrell.
And Pharrell had this bright idea, like,
You know what? Two dark-skinned brothers. Y'all gonna be named the Clipse. No, Eclipse. Matter of fact, y'all black.
and I was like, oh man,
Cause you know Cain and Abel, P got Cain and Abel.
like, you know, he sells the whole, like, Pharrell's greatest gift is a salesman. So he sold this whole thing, and you know, but this is back when rap had like 3 full verses. And so before then, my brother was a soloist, and he's like writing 3 full verses. It's taking, you know, forever to finish the song. He was like, and y'all can cut it in half now. This is what we about to do. And the Clipse was born.
No Malice, like I said, was originally No Malice. With life change, he decided to become a devout Christian and take all the negativity out of his life, including malice. So he inserted No Malice as his name.
Did you feel like the name just no longer reflected who you were as a person?
Man, I believe we become how we're labeled. You keep answering to a certain thing, you know, you gonna be that.
You know, I just had to take a step back and I had to think about, you know, the things that I was saying and the things that I actually was glorifying.
And how do you have your peace now within?
I have the peace that surpasses all human understanding, and it comes from God. It comes from the Holy Spirit. That's who gives me a peace that I never had before. And I know exactly where it comes from because it was absent from me. I know the difference between then and how I feel now.
Pusha T also used to go by Terror.
You know what? Pharrell actually named me Pusha.
Pharrell did?
Yeah. You know, we used to be in the studio a lot, and I would never stay in there and work with him. I would always like leave out the studio and run around and do things in the street and so on and so forth. And then I'd come back. He'd be like, damn, Pusha, damn.
Really?
Why don't you just, just chill with me, man? Like, chill with me. Like, put everything into the music. Forget all that other stuff outside.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what was it? Did you have a name before that or just your own name?
I did. Like, before Pusha, right, it was Terror. And it was because I was born on Friday the 13th, and my mother used to call me Terrence the Terror.
So let's jump into the music. They originally signed with Elektra. They released an unreleased debut album. This is called Exclusive Audio Footage. Now, this album was never released completely during the time that they created the album because it did not receive a good response from fans. They released a single called The Funeral. From this album, it was shelved, and the duo was actually dropped from Elektra at the time due to the response.
Take a walk on my side, no more tears, no more fears, no one telling me lies.
Jumping back into 2001, the group was signed to Arista Records, and they released their debut album, Lord Willing, in 2002, which peaked at number 4 on the Billboard 200. There were 2 singles released prior to this album, Grindin' in 2002.
Grinding, you know what I keep in a lining.
And When the Last Time.
When the last time you heard it like this? Smoke some, drink some, get ripped.
And after a several-year delay due to the label record reshuffling, the duo's second and third albums, Hell Has No Fury in 2006, and Till the Casket Drops in 2009 dropped. In 2010, the duo went on hiatus and both members pursued solo careers.
And I can recall I'm listening to my brother and Rick Rubin talk about, things that we should do, things, just how everything was going for us. And I'm thinking, they can talk all they want. I'm about to leave, but I had to entertain the conversation.
But you knew.
Yeah, I knew in my heart. Like, I knew, that I wasn't going to continue. And it was that very night after we left Rick Rubin, had a great conversation. And we get back to the hotel and we're in the elevator and I told my brother, I'm not going to be able to continue doing this. And around that time, we were entertaining thoughts of doing separate solos at that time.
Sure.
And, I just told my brother, I said, I think it's about time, since you're already entertaining it, you should just go ahead and do your solo. And
you'll step back.
Yeah, because I had like things on my mind, and I knew it was like time to take a step back.
The Clipse officially reunited to guest appear on Kanye West's 2019 song Use the Gospel from Kanye's album Jesus is King.
A lot of damaged souls, I done damaged those. And in my arrogance, took a camera pose.
The duo's upcoming 4th studio album, Let God Sort Them Out, is scheduled for release by Jay-Z's Rock Nation on July 11, 2025. It is their first new album together in over 15 years.
This is the era, and when I say this era, I'm talking about this Clipse, 2002, from where we're from.
Yeah.
I think this will be the era that proves that it doesn't have to age out ever.
Right.
Before us, you got Hov. He has so much mogul shit going on.
Right.
So I think our era is competitively doing this right now. I don't think Hov had to competitively
Rap is still your main thing. Rap is not his main thing. Rap is something he does when he feels
and
like
I think all of that comes from our era.
It has been a beautiful time of reflection, growth, learning. Not only that, but as I'm sitting back and made my departure, I'm watching so many people falter with what I was going through. I'm watching it. You know what I'm saying? I see sorrow. I see depression. I've seen murders. You know what I'm saying?
Drug addiction.
I'm watching it, and all people have to do is it's okay. Take time for yourself. Get yourself together. But some people can't let go. Because I've done that, now I am able to, come back with my brother and go at this thing again or whatever.
So Pharrell is the executive and only producer on the album.
The Clipse wants a certain thing and a certain sound, and I tend to believe that we are looking for things that P specifically was a fan of at one point that we all were fans of. We don't search for sounds, we search for feeling.
Mm-hmm.
What we've mastered is trying to is searching for a feeling.
Yeah.
Versus a sound, versus a drum, versus anything. It's always the feeling first.
The artwork on the album was by Cause. He handled the artwork as well as the design for Let God Sort Him Out. He also designed the artwork for their album Till the Casket Drops. And some little info on Cause, he's also known for his pop culture collaborations. You might have seen him on the Reese's cereal boxes, some of Kanye West's work, Travis Scott, Pharrell, Mickey Mouse, and The Simpsons, and a lot more. He's a really dope artist.
We reached out to Cause, man. We had seen some things he was working on, before release. The synergy of like Clipse and Cause and just that whole world. We thought it would be a good way to have a full circle moment.
Continue that.
Yeah, to continue that. I mean,
does it feel urgent?
Yeah.
The cover?
Yeah, it definitely feels urgent. Definitely feels urgent. And at the same time, it's like, I think he understands the group, man. He definitely understands the group. And I think our fans are gonna understand us, collectively together.
So the album was originally planned for a 2024 release, but the album was delayed by Def Jam Recordings. Its parent company, the Universal Music Group, they demanded that Kendrick Lamar's guest verse on that song, Chains and Whips, be either censored or removed.
We show up with the Kendrick verse, and everything's halted. They didn't like the optic. In my opinion, they didn't like the optics
of two Drake foes teaming up.
Right.
Yeah.
Did there a line they pinpointed? Censor?
They pinpointed a line where the phrase "trump card" was used.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and they said that they didn't want any problem with Trump.
So you felt like they were looking for something?
Of course, they were looking for
to halt the optics.
1,000%.
In the end, the Clipse refused to censor Kendrick's verse and decided to pay a 7-figure sum to be dropped off the entire record label.
So we ignored it, and then one day, I believe it was Steve Gawley made the call.
A lawyer
at UMG, and was like, "Hey, look, I'm not stupid, guys. You guys aren't stupid. You guys aren't, changing anything. We'll drop the clips. Pusha has to stay, and
as a solo
we'll just
artist.
We'll just have to move on." But that doesn't work.
Right. And Steven Victor, your manager, gave an interview with Billboard. He said there was essentially a 7-figure payment to free you guys from your contract. They're going to take a little bit of profit off of this new album. So here we are, 20 years later, and you're still in the
label
thick of
drama.
They ended up signing to Roc Nation instead, and they're now operating as an independent group. So Pusha T and the Clipse have always been going through some censorship issues from labels, including songs Whips and Chains with Kendrick Lamar, Paranoia with Young Thug and Pop Smoke, Maybach Music 6 with Rick Ross, Lil Wayne, and John Legend. Pusha T says that the lyric committee at Def Jam censors his lyrics.
The lyrics committee, from what I understand, was supposed to, take your music, make sure there aren't any interpolations,
secret samples.
It's a copyright check.
Basically, that's what it's supposed to be. Since 2018, it was for me, at Def Jam, a way to censor my music or a way to make sure I wasn't having any subliminal disses or anything in anything that I did.
Yeah.
That's how it was used for me.
The lyric committee is crazy.
I didn't even know that existed.
I didn't either.
If you look at the lyric committee and who those people are, it just kind of looks like, like who are the people up top? They don't look like us, right? You got Pusha T and you're censoring his art. This lyric committee is white. I'll just be quite honest. At least for Def Jam.
Who's really sitting in an office?
Okay, let's grab this verse here. So in the first bar, he said, freaky ass nigga, he's a 69 god.
That is beautiful. You did it.
Y'all are really sitting huddled up in a committee office room, dissecting and overly inflecting these men's bars that it took them however long to, concoct these verses in their heads or on paper, however they do it. And then now you want to sit here and literally pull their words apart to fit your weird, not like us narrative.
Even Pusha T mentioned that there have been verses that he got off, bars he got off about Drake or whoever it was he was beefing with. He got them off, and labels was like, "Yo, let's push her through. That don't work."
The story of Adidon alone. Like, were y'all not awake that day? Like, were y'all on vacation golfing somewhere on a yacht?
This is what happens when white folks invest in black business.
That's a fact. And I just love the chess move. Like, oh, okay, I'm not going to take K-Dot off. I'm not going to censor him. Actually, we about to just end this. Let's just cut the deal. Drop the check.
I like the furthermore chess move where it's like, okay, we drop the clips, but we going to keep pushing. No. You going to drop all of us.
And that part too.
That
like,
I
come
like.
on. Don't hoe them like that. You know, historically, they've been hoed by these like corporate music industry folks, like, and it's just so messed up. Like, that's really a slap in the face for Def Jam to be like, okay, yeah, let's just drop Malice.
We'll let Malice, but you gotta
stay. And we taking K-Dot off. Like, who? What, the slave?
You gotta stay and we're just no,
ain't no slaves.
In what world did you think that was gonna work? And he's Pusha T. He carried good music. I don't care what nobody gotta say. He carried good music on his back. Writing for Kanye, tolerating Kanye at times. You know what I mean? Keeping him in the studio past, he said, if y'all in the studio past 9 p.m., he tired. He ready to go home.
Right.
So, keeping me there, I hate to say against his will, but like to write for you, dog, like I carried y'all. And then what you mean to tell me I can't say, I can't do? I carried a whole record label on my back for like years with everybody, my hands tied, everybody telling me what I can and can't do. On this one, no. I'ma tell y'all, you can drop me and my brother, and we still keeping Kendrick.
And I hate to like bring up Drake and use him as examples in these bitch ass situations, but like,
why not? The world does.
Why not? That's a platform ride. Drake in this situation, very similar situation with the labels and censorship. Drake sued. Pusha T was like, yeah, so F that. Like, just drop us then, bro. Just drop us. It's just another example of the Karenship that's going on the victim side and on the slave master side. Shouts out to the Clipse for making that player move. Shouts out to Rock Nation for even being there and just taking the oop. Like, yep, come on.
Oh, Rock Nation gonna pick you up now.
Come on.
Of his black excellence. And thank God that they had the money to do what they did.
The money to do.
Because they really did try to play them.
So there have been a lot of Easter eggs dropping about the album Let God Sort 'Em Out. So we've heard the lead single Ace of Trumps. It was recently released. They also did a color show of Ace of Trumpets as well. Very nice. Very nice. I just always love the clips. Like, they always just look like art.
True artiste.
So another track, So Be It, was given out to DJs. And it was released as a promotional single on YouTube in June 2025 this year, as well as Chains and Whips. With the Kendrick featured, it was played during the Louis Vuitton Men's Spring Summer 2024 show in June. So when we heard that, it was because they were getting some footage of the Louis Vuitton show, which, by the way, the fashion show was by Pharrell as the creative director, his first one.
I'm still tripping off of, walking a runway in Paris and your song playing. For that to come about, I mean, you could, like you say, you could sense the cohesiveness of recording there and then being part of that project and being able to, model clothes and like, that's way too much for anyone to be doing.
And by the way, Pharrell's office is at the headquarters in Paris, and that's where the Clipse recorded the album.
We recorded this whole project at the Louis Vuitton headquarters in Paris. We just started creating, man, but like, it was just energy. The energy of like the music and the energy of the clothes actually being made, and it made for a very critical project. Like, we were critiquing everything around us. Everything around us was being critiqued at all times.
Wow.
So I think it worked, and I think that urgency was found within that, knowing that there was always an opinion Like you were in a house full of opinions.
Niggas in Paris.
Hello?
Niggas in Paris, in the Louis Vuitton building.
The Clipse always gonna do legendary things.
So be it.
I love it. So then also another song, Birds Don't Sing, featuring John Legend. Now this was previewed at the show as well, which was said to be the opening track for the album. That's what was said, you know what I'm saying? Hold me to it, but don't hold me tight. So GQ confirmed more track titles for us. There's Mike Tyson, there's POV, there's FICO featuring Stove God Cooks, as well as Chains and Whips featuring Kendrick Lamar.
I'm running down the track list in my head right now, but we got John Legend, Tyler the Creator, Kendrick Lamar, Stove God, The Dream, Lava, of course, Re-Up Gang, Forever. Everything produced by Pharrell. I think we got a couple verses from Pharrell too.
Yeah, we got some verses from Pharrell. Yeah.
Nas.
You mean to tell me Nas is on the Clipse album?
Nas, that's what.
Not Jim Jones?
Whatever narrative you want to paint, you still got to listen to me talking to you right now in 2025. What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Moving on.
It's also said to be a remix already for So Be It. It's called So Be It Part 2. And this was also played at the Louis Vuitton Men's Spring-Summer 2026 fashion show. And So Be It is also said to have shots from Pusha T. He said that these were shots going out to Travis Scott.
Travis Scott, he came through carrying the Utopia briefcase.
Right. Yep.
Doing his whole promotional spiel for his album.
Yep.
He comes, he interrupts the session. The next day, the meltdown verse, or whatever comes on.
I melt down the chains that I bought from your boss. Give a fuck about all of that heritage shit.
Drake on Travis Scott talking about melting Pharrell's jewelry.
And all of that. And I'm just like, man, that was a corny. Like, you shouldn't have been here anyway.
If you knew you had
no, you didn't have to be here anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't, him specifically too, I don't take it as personal as I should. It's Travis. He's harmless. Like, I'm not into what his whole makeup. I just, I took it there.
Her Utopia had moved right up the street, and her lip gloss was popping. She ain't need you to eat.
I took it there, and
because you felt like he was playing both sides.
Yeah, just playing both sides, and that's corny to me. And I've done a lot to get away from that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I'm working on the Clipse album. I'm working on the Clipse album. I'm in with my brother and P. That's our circle.
That's the unit.
And then to to come back in our fold. To come to
make
invade,
a point of...
to invade the fold, and then do all that he did. It was like, man, that was corny. I've definitely had to put my hand on your shoulder before. You died in front of me. You cried in front of me. Calabasas took your bitch and your pride in front of me. Like I had to tell you, I had to help you. I did. And it's like, people take that type of shit for granted. I don't take that for granted. I don't.
Also, we did have a request. They wanted to know what Pharrell and Pusha T's in the Clipse, what Pharrell and the Clipse's skincare routine was. I did some research. I couldn't find the Clipse, but I did find Pharrell.
My skincare essentials are pretty much 3 steps. This is the rice powder cleanser. So a couple shakes with a little bit of water, rub it together. Then you get like this foamy sensation. I'm like going in circular motions, and I'm always going upward because Naomi would always tell me never go downward. A couple shakes of the powder in my palm, and then like with water, when you mix it together, you get like this foamy sensation. And sensation lets you know that not only does it work, but it's real. The next step is our Lotus enzyme exfoliator. I'm always talking about like exfoliating like a madman. When they ask me, oh, what do you do? Like, that's the number one thing. It's like removing the dead layers of skin. And the Lotus enzyme it rejuvenates the skin. That works. And again, I use a face cloth. You see that? Glowing. This is our third step, our humidifying cream. Now, technically, it's a moisturizer, but we own that term humidifying cream because I was so insistent with the terminology humidifying. It's important to moisturize because you want to lock in the moisture. You know, rubbing it in is super important. Just getting it in there. Again, I have it in my eyebrows, everywhere. Popping. Yeah.
So we got the Pharrell and
that's the one that count, baby, because his
That is.
skin
It's clear.
He out here looking like a polished diamond, baby.
For real, nigga, look! Ah, shit! Man, go! Give them what they asked for!
Music for